see that the two-state solution is gone. It's gone intentionally. And certainly Israel has no, if you see the story of Salim and Arabia, has no intention of recognizing Palestinian rights, the Palestinian people, giving them any living space at all. The idea, again, is you either leave or you live within the cells of Area A and B. So it seems to me, in terms of a solution, we can talk about this after, there's really three options. It seems to be almost mathematically, there's three options to resolving this conflict. One of them is the two-state solution. Again, that's been adopted by everyone, but which, in my view, is gone. And I think I've tried to make the case of why it's gone. And there is no willpower on the part of the international community, especially the United States, to force Israel back to the lines where a Palestinian state can emerge. That's simply not in the cards. It's over. It's gone. We should stop talking about the two-state solution. Because it's simply, when you talk about an irrelevant solution, it muddies the waters. The other solution, it seems to me, is what we have. In other words, Israel has turned this country into one state. The whole issue, should there be one state or two states, is resolved. There is one state today. There's one state between the Mediterranean and the Jordan River. It's Israel over a Palestinian Bantustan. It's an apartheid state. And I want to say it just up front. There is a new apartheid state in the world. Period. I'm not warning about it. It's here. It's arrived. And ironically, especially saying it in this place, it's in the Holy Land. And supported by the Canadian government. So that apartheid in international law is defined by two elements. It's not some mystical concept. It's not a slogan. There is an international covenant against what's called the crime of apartheid in international law, and it's defined by two elements. One is when one population separates itself from the others. That's apartheid. And then that population creates a regime of permanent institutionalized dominance. In other words, it's not just discrimination. It's the regime of institutionalized dominance. So separation and dominance is apartheid. And it doesn't matter if it's racial, like in South Africa, if it's ethnic, national, religious, as in Israel-Palestine, or if it's based on the color of your eyes. I mean, who cares? If you have a regime of separation and domination, that's apartheid. And I would hope that it's unacceptable to everyone, including the And therefore, it seems to me that our task is clear ahead. What we have to do and what the genuine solution is. If the two-state solution is gone and apartheid is unacceptable, the only way out is to go with the flow and to say, okay, Israel, you created one state. Now we have to take that one state and transform it into a democratic state of equal rights for all its inhabitants. That shouldn't be such a revolutionary idea in Canada. Wow, democratic state. Equal rights, what an idea. In other words, it's not a solution that we should be unfamiliar with, that should be scary, that should be unacceptable. As a matter of fact, this is what the American government claims to be doing all over the world. It's spreading freedom and democracy, right? And here's the people that want freedom and democracy. So, and I'll say one more thing, and then I'll stop. A a democratic state of equal rights, for sure, but as in Canada, you have here two national groups. You've got Israeli Jews and Palestinian Arabs. And you can't ignore the impact and the importance of acknowledging this national element as well as individual rights, the collective rights of the two peoples. So that, in my view, that one state should be democratic, equal rights, equal citizenship, but built into it a binationalism. I mean, very similar in some ways to what you have in Canada, or the UK, or Belgium, or Switzerland. I mean, there's a lot of examples in the world of binational or multinational states. So that I have I'll leave you with a cute formula. I have to stop short of actually advocating for this. I'm bringing it up as a good solution, but in fact, this is the Palestinians' call. I can't represent the Palestinians. I can't tell them what the solution is. As a critical Israeli, this is what I come up with, this is what I'm raising, but the Palestinians have to be the ones to decide where they're going, and the Palestinians themselves have not yet really made that transition from the two-state to the one-state. Mainly because it's hard for the Palestinians to give up the aspiration for national liberation, for a country of their own. That's a lot to ask. And so on the one hand, they know the two-state's gone, but they haven't completely made the transition. But when we get there, I'm suggesting a slogan that I think kind of encapsulates all this. And that slogan is BDS equals BDS. That's pretty memorable, even by older people like me. And it means, the problem with BDS today, our campaign of boycotts, divestment, sanctions, which is growing and it's very powerful, and it's the way people can insert themselves into the political process. The problem is that it's not connected yet to an end game. We haven't yet moved, and the Palestinians haven't yet moved to a one-state solution. But so in order to kind of make that connection, because we have to know what we're BDSing for. Where are we going? What's our end game? That's what I'm suggesting. BDS equals BDS, meaning boycotts, divestment, sanctions equals a binational democratic state. So I'm going to leave it at that. We can turn on the lights. And we have time for discussion.
Thank you, Jeff. We're now going to move into a period of discussion, but before that, I just got a couple of items that I'd like to deal with. The first is that, as you know, this is a church. And what do they do in churches? Well, we're going to pass a collection basket. Now, I know that everybody who's worked with me are all volunteers. Nobody's been paid for this. The money that we have collected from our ticket sales goes to pay for Jeff's expenses, goes to pay for helping with organization in rebuilding houses, goes to organizing the kinds of meetings that we organize here. You'll remember, many, that we started off charging $20 for the tickets. That was our original price. And the ticket sales weren't going very well, and there was a little bit of pushback on that. So we reduced the ticket sales price to $15. So the first thing is, if there's anybody in the room who paid $20 and wants their $5 back, please come and see what people at the desk. We will trust you. We'll give you your $5 back. On the other hand, we would like to pass around a collection basket. So if you approve of the work that Jeff is doing, and you have a few extra dollars, that would be terrific. Don't feel embarrassed by passing it on without making a contribution. That's fine too. but I think all the money that we do collect is going to a good cause, so thank you very much on that. While that is happening, the basket's going back and forth here. The basket over on this side here, I think, as well. While we're doing that, we're going to do our draw. Now, did everybody get a chance to put their name in the draw on the way in? The draw is if you didn't wave your hand and someone will come and pick up the hand wave, several hands here. So I'll just talk a bit about the draw. Can we get to the people and give some more, we have 3 fabulous prizes, and I'll tell you what the prizes are. But first of all, I'm going to tell you the sneaky reason we're doing the draw. The sneaky reason is that we want your name and your email address. So the draw is an incentive to get you to give us your name and your email address, so we're going to put you on our emails for future reference going forward. Now, let me tell you about the 3 fabulous prizes. First prize is a $500 gift certificate to use against the tour that I'm going to be organizing next November to go to Israel, Palestine. And it is transferable, so if you personally aren't able to use it, you'll be able to give it to a friend. This will be my 5th trip, perhaps my last trip on this format. We go for 2 weeks. We travel extensively in the West Bank and in Israel. We talk to Palestinians, we talk to Jews, and everybody I've talked to found the trip very educational. Second prize is a 3-hour Arabic cooking lesson given by a Palestinian Canadian who's expert in traditional Palestinian cuisine. And the third prize is a bottle of Palestinian olive oil. So those are the 3 prizes. Everybody got their name in? 1 minute to get some more names. While they're doing that, why don't I just give you the outline, the rules for the discussion period with Jeff. Maybe I'll wait a minute.
So if we get in anyway,
Can we bring the basket up here, please? Not the collection baskets, the draw baskets when I need to.